You're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, and it's time for keys to the game. There are so many keys. You know, the Bengals cleaned up the turnover ratio, which was good. -5 in week one, not going to beat anybody. And they didn't beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it took an overtime from the Pittsburgh Steelers to knock out the Cincinnati Bengals eventually. And in week two, the Bengals were +1, the turnover ratio, but still lost the football game. So what has to happen? What are the keys to victory in New York against the Jets, Jets? Here's 4 of them I'm going to talk about. Fast start. This one, you don't have to be a football Einstein to figure out. Score first. How about play with a lead? The Bengals, amazingly, with an overtime of 10 minutes in week one. That's 70 minutes of football, 60 minutes in week two, 130 minutes of football. They've never had a lead. Haven't had a lead for this all season. With this football team, the composition of this football team, that's mind-boggling to me that they haven't even had a lead. They had 17-3 deficits that they had to crawl back from in the first half in both football games. 2 straight games. That's absolutely nuts. They haven't scored a touchdown in the first half of either game, either of the 2 first football games. No touchdowns in the first half. Come on now. So, I mean, it's very obviously digging out of a 14-point hole changes the mindset of everybody and everything, changes the mindset of a play caller. You start to feel a little bit one-dimensional. You know, I mean, if you were thinking about running the football, you're probably not going to think about running it quite as much because you're down 2 scores and you're starting to count possessions. Boy, it's the end of the second quarter. How many more times are we going to have the football? We have to overcome a 14-point deficit. It just changes that whole thought process. Play caller, quarterback, everybody. The quarterbacks, you know, now all of a sudden, do I take a chance that I normally wouldn't have taken? Down 14 points, might have to try to squeeze it in there into a tighter hole. It changes everything. Playing with a lead gives your quarterback a tremendous amount of comfort. I know that's one thing that they wanted to do. They're playing against, you know, quarterbacks that aren't top-tier quarterbacks in the National Football League in the first 2 weeks. The Bengals wanted to make them uncomfortable. 17-3 leads made them comfortable. Big difference in the football game. Okay, let's talk protection. Let's talk protection to Joe Burrow. 13 sacks allowed, worse than the National Football League. Saints are the only other team in the league that's allowed double digits. They've allowed 10. 2 teams have allowed double-digit sacks. The Bengals have allowed 13, by far the most in the National Football League. I'd say roughly half of them, or maybe 7 of the 13, you'd probably pin on the offensive line. Some of the time, Joe's holding the football too long. Is that because his receivers aren't getting separation, getting open? Potentially. Is it because he's a little bit not nervous, but a little bit apprehensive about how much time do I have to throw the football? So my clock's sped up a little bit? Potentially. I mean, not seeing the field as well as maybe you should have or could have, and that you have in past situations. All of that's a possibility. Here's a stat, though, for you. Since the start of 2021, Joe Burrow has been sacked 83 times now. 70 last year, counting playoffs. 70 last year, 13 this year. 83 sacks. The next highest, 2-way tie. Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield have both been sacked 49 times. Joe Burrow, 83. Second most sacks, 49. It's a big discrepancy. I mean, you got to start protecting the quarterback, whether it's better play from the offensive line, which is a must. Make sure running backs are going the right way in blitz pickup, which is a must. The offensive line and the running backs and the protection has to be a hand fit in a glove. There's no question about it. Again, if you're a receiver in a one-on-one situation, you have to win that route, give Joe Burrow an opportunity to throw the football. All of these are big deals in the protection process of Joe Burrow. First down, huge. The Bengals right now are also dead last in the National Football League, allowing gaining 3.7 yards per play. Let me say that again. The Bengals have generated 3.74 yards per play on first down. dead last in the NFL. I'm not talking about running the football. I'm talking about per play. I'm talking about running it, throwing it, gadget plays, trick plays, whatever. On first down, they're not even generating 4 yards per play on first down, and they're dead last in the league as a result of it. That puts them in a little stressful situation. If you're not getting it done on first down, second and long, third and long are tough situations. You want to stay ahead of the chains. You want to be second and medium, worst case scenario, third and short to medium, worst case scenario. They're in second and third and long way too much. Another problem they've had is penalties on first down, which really gets them off schedule. False start, 1st and 15, not where you want to be. Illegal formation, one time. They covered an extra lineman who reported as eligible and covered him up. That was an illegal formation penalty. Now it's 1st and 15. Next play, quarterback sack, 2nd and 22. Those are the things you have to avoid. Eliminate penalties on first down. Minimize penalties as best you possibly can, but eliminate them on first down because it's tough enough anyway. And then Dallas one time had 12 men in the field. They get flagged for it. Bengals have a 1st and 5. That's a beautiful situation. You can run it, you can throw it. I mean, your whole playbook's open to you. They try to run the ball with Joe Mixon, lose 2 yards. So 1st and 5 turns into 2nd and 7. Got to do a better job on first down. Have to have more consistency, more execution, laser-like focus on first down. Have to improve first down. First down success leads to third down success. In my mind, that's a football axiom that pretty much holds true. Chunk plays. The Bengals did not have a play against the Dallas Cowboys in this era of football with these players that they have in the skill positions, did not have one play of over 20 yards against the Dallas Cowboys. I can't remember the last time the Bengals had a game where offensively did not have a play over 20 yards. I mean, that's amazing to me. A T. Higgins 19-yard reception was the longest play in the passing game for the day. Joe Burrow had the longest run of the day on one of his quarterback scrambles due to pressure. 12-yard run. Joe Mixon's longest run of the day was 10 yards. No explosives. Dallas basically played this deep shell coverage and said, we're not throwing it over. You're not going to throw it over our heads. That's not going to happen. Well, if they're going to do that, I'm going to give you a 5th key. Run teams out of cover 2. Pittsburgh ran a heavy dose of cover 2. Dallas ran a heavy dose of cover 2. Now there's different cover 2s. Everybody has their own nuances, their own adjustments, their own little tweaks. But cover 2 meaning 2 safeties high that are going to help on the outside with corners. They're not going to allow you to throw the ball from the numbers are hash marked to the sideline over their heads. The middle of the field is vulnerable because the safeties are rotating out of the middle of the football field. Now, they will line up in cover 2 some and then bring a safety down late after the snap of the football. So that's basic NFL stuff. Pre-snap look, post-snap look can be 2 different things. But you have to be able to run the football. That's the 5th key. You have to be able to run the football against cover 2. You got to run teams out of cover 2. If you're playing cover 2, you have 2 safeties deep. You have a 7-man box, maximum 7-man box. You have to be able to handle 7-man box looks well enough to run the ball consistently, where then you can go to play action pass and really put some stress on the linebackers and those safeties in the middle of the football field. Now, if you start running that football pretty well, linebackers are going to start coming downhill. And if they're starting to come downhill to stop the running game, now you play action pass. Good fake, linebackers step up, big area to throw the football between linebackers and safeties. And the next step for them is to sink a safety down. We've got to go 8 in the box. We can't stop them with 7 in the box. They're running the ball down our throat. Let's go 8 in the box. And you can open up your passing attack, in other ways. Bottom line is 5 keys in this football game are big for me. A fast start, score first, play with a lead. They haven't done that all season long. They have not scored first in a football game and played with a lead. 130 minutes. Have never had a lead. No touchdowns in the first half, the first 2 football games. Protection speaks for itself. Joe Burrow's been sacked too many times. Offensive line, Joe himself, everybody's involved. with those sacks. First down. Got to execute better on first down. Put yourself in better down and distance situations, second and third down. Chunk plays. Get back to some explosion in that offense, some explosive plays. And then number 5, be able to run that football in cover 2. Run them out of cover 2. Run it, play action pass, be balanced in your offense, get a victory against the New York Jets. Need it badly. Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.